So, Will, walk us through what we're seeing right now on the screen.
Yeah, okay, so this is fairly early on in the game. Obviously it's daytime still, so it's kind of the get to know you area. We're kind of introduced to all the characters. Here we've got Abby, who's played by Ariel Winter. She's kind of just picking up the bits and pieces from the cabins, just last day of camp. She's about to leave, and she's exploring around the area. There's areas of exploration all the way through the game, and in those times you can find clues to what's going on. There's also these little tarot cards that you can find, and every single time you find a tarot card at the end of a chapter, you can go and visit this fortune teller, and she'll give you a little bit of a premonition on what might happen in the future. So it's worth exploring those areas. What we're seeing now is part of the accessibility choices. We wanted to make this super accessible, so you can set color blindness, obviously, the choice timers. You can set those big. You can make the QTEs much more playable. Everything in it is adjustable, literally down to the point of being able to make it into a movie. You turn everything off effectively, although we actually just go into movie mode at that stage. And also that means when you're playing on couch play, you can have different people have their own setups for this. So this is really good for people who are not necessarily hardcore gamers.
Hardcore gamers, yeah.
What's down there?
Oh my God, Ryan, you will not believe this.
What?
It's nothing.
Oh, man.
I had you go in there for a second.
This is a choice that you have to whether or not you go down into this little basement. If you do, it literally can save someone's life like 9 chapters later. That's a bit of a spoiler as well. But
Wow.
Yeah, coming back up.
so you watch this here. That's just bent that little bit of a thing there. That's now weakened that ladder. That wouldn't have been weakened had he not gone down there.
Interesting. And so that's going to come back.
Yeah, that's going to come back and bite you.
Yeah.
My
Do you
God,
witness or
Ryan,
do you
will
realize
not
that
believe this.
as a game, someone playing, when it says path updated, is that when
Path,
you know
path
that
chosen,
that's-
yes. So every time path chosen has happened, you've done something that's going to really affect you,
Okay.
and that's mostly going to
is,
be a life or
pretty
death
spooky down
thing.
here,
Not
though,
always,
and
but it'll be a big deal thing. So there's choices all the way through, and they're often conversational choices, and often they'll end up into somebody disliking you. And we wanted to use that as well. We wanted to use this thing where just the very nature. If I said something and I pissed you off, and I knew I'd pissed you off, everything I said from then on is going to have a little bit of a weirder thing about it. But if I didn't know I'd pissed you off, and you were just acting normal, I'll act differently. It'll have a different feel. We've got this whole scene in the around the fire pit where it's super awkward, and we wanted it to be super awkward, and that changes the way that story plays out based on that.
Hello, old friends.
This is Emma and Zach. They're kind of hunting around, trying to find some beer and stuff in an old storeroom. They're like a couple. They've just come to the end of their relationship because summer camp's just finished. It was like a summer fling.
Jacob!
Emma? Oh my God!
And now you can see there's a thing there. Now he's slightly pissed off with you. So again, that's going to be a change in the tone.
And it goes to what you were saying earlier, how like if it were just the clown mask, he has no like, he's just happy. He's just like, because he's not afraid of clowns, but now he's gonna have like this thing in the back of his mind, this feelings towards her because of what she just did, and how he is actually in fear of spiders.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna check out the movie mode, where we have 3 different options, I believe. The first 2, very obvious: everyone lives, everyone dies. Then we have director's chair. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah. So like I say, for the ability to be able to kind of get this really as wide an audience as possible, is we've got these movie modes, and that's basically you set it going and you just sit back and watch it as a movie. Like you say, everyone lives, everyone dies, fairly self-evident. Director's chair is that you can go through every playable character and you can set up their characteristics. So under pressure, Dylan will be clumsy. In conversations, Dylan will be inconsistent. Whatever it is, and you have 4 of these per character to be able to go through, and you can literally set them all up differently, which means every single choice that they get to, that normally you would make, they're going to make the choice based on the characteristics you've put in. Or if it's a quick time event, if they're clumsy, they'll fail quick time events. Or so once you set that going, that'll play a movie that no one will have ever seen before. It'll be like there's no way that number of combinations can be replicated. It's well, there is obviously mathematically there is, but there's a lot. We've also got another movie mode, I think, in the deluxe version, which is the Gore Fest mode. Which is
Gore Fest.
Gore Fest. So that's the most violent and gruesome way you can play through it.
There's a death rewind feature. So let's say like I love a character so much and I wish that they didn't die. Explain that feature?
Yeah, so that's so we have this thing where, like I say, we want death to be really kind of an anxiety and a threat. So it's important that we keep everyone can die, and when they're dead, they're dead. After the first playthrough, or I think if you get the deluxe version, you have this thing called Death Rewind, which is just 3. You get 3 for the whole game, and it's 3 lives. It's kind of like old arcade lives, you know. So, and at the end of a death, if somebody's died, you'll get the option. It'll say, "Do you want to use one of your lives?" And if you go, "Yeah," you just go back to the point just before, so the decision you made or the quick time event you had or whatever it is, just before that, so that you get a chance to do that again. It's not as clean as you think, so there are some deaths that you'll trigger maybe 3 or 4 chapters ahead. You'll do something that from then on you're doomed. So that means you will die sort of later on. So sometimes that means, oh, I've got to go back quite a long way, but we give you that choice.
3 obviously is the right number, because like you have to use them sparingly and be very wise with how you use your three extra lives, I guess. So I'm glad that you all only made it 3 and not limitless, because that wouldn't be fun at all.
And the trouble with that is you end up actually having a very narrow experience. Yeah. So you'll make choices and it'll be like, oh, I died, I've got to come back. And then, but actually having someone die changes a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's not just, oh, that person's dead. It literally, all the scenes change because someone died. So, and all sorts of other things. It's not just deaths. There's all sorts of other things in the game that a lot of people might just go, oh, I didn't want to do that, and come back. But you do end up with a very narrow story then.
Aye, aye.
Alright. 2 things. Remember the spread.
So Caitlin is a really good shot. She's played by Brenda Song. And she's
shows you where you're aiming.
Effectively having a little shooting match with these 2 guys. Nick, who's played by Evan Evagora, he's getting to shoot here. With the gun, what we wanted to do was to make it feel like a gun. We actually kind of stole the mechanic really from Resident Evil 4, which is literally the best game ever made. So,
agreed.
Isn't it though, right?
Agreed, yes.
And they had this really great thing, which was a laser pointer on a gun, and so you didn't have a reticule that you normally have, center screen reticule. You had a full 3D into the world wherever you point. I mean, it kind of followed it around a bit, but it was a 3-dimensional thing, and it allowed you to go, well, if that's on him, I can shoot it, and I'll know I'll hit it. So we stole that kind of idea, but put it as a big old flashlight and made the gun a shotgun, so that it was wide, so you didn't have to go pinpoint accurate, but you knew where, if I was going to shoot that, I was going to hit it. Yeah. And then also, actually, we also gave you range. So if you're too far away, it would pepper you. And if you were really close up, it would kill you. So you got that kind of shotgun feel to it. And
I love the way you all did it, because like, for those that aren't as skilled in like shooter games, like, I mean, like that light right in that spotlight right in the middle, if it's aiming on your enemy's chest, that's you're gonna hit that exact spot. So.
Yeah, and there's times when again, life and death decisions come down to the shooting. Yeah. And again, what we didn't want to do is because the gameplay in these games is really the way the story unfolds. It's not always just about the shooting. There's shooting in it and there's exploration in it. But the gameplay is more, I mean, I'm not trying to equate this to chess really, but it's more like a game of chess. It's the choices you make. It's like, that's how the game unfolds. It's not the traditional kind of agency gameplay. So we needed to make sure that people who aren't full-time gamers didn't panic suddenly because they got given a gun that they're not used to be able to control. So my favorite game that I play all the time is Battlefield. So I'm a big first-person shooter person. Online, which is ruthless. And I love that stuff, but I don't want that in this, because that's not the vibe. It's not, it's really not. If someone died because they missed a shot, feels punitive in this sort of story.
Who do you think is gonna make the first move? Nick or Abby?
Ooh, good cue. My bet's on neither.
I don't know. Nick's got the beast in him.
If by beast you mean some sort of mild-mannered baby deer.
They seem to be having this weird vibe together. So, Dylan, who's gay, fancies Ryan.
So, what do you guys want to do now?
But Caitlin also fancies Ryan. So there's a little bit of a kind of like a dynamic going on here, and it's kind of just seeing how that plays out.
Abby! Help! Please! Nick! Help him!
So their romantic tension didn't last too long.
Yeah. Yes. No, absolutely. It wasn't. I mean, you know, that's the same thing with these teen horrors. Is it's always about setting that stuff up and then going into the dark again.
Go after Nick. Go!
And this is Ryan deciding whether or not he's going to go. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to go. Choosing assertive.
Okay.
And just going for it changes a whole bunch of stuff. Again, right down at the end of the line. I'm not going to say positively or negatively, but it definitely, you know, like the effects are so long-ranging on these.
A big thank you to Will Boyles for giving us the chills, giving us the frights, and some insight on what we can expect in the Quarry come June 10th on all platforms.